Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. For anyone new here, my name is Jay, and today I'm going to be talking about something that I never really thought I would do a video or even have an interest in talking about, and that's building your own arrows and what tools you would specifically need. Really, we're just going to go around the basics today of stuff that I've bought and gathered over the past couple months and just give you guys a view of what I'm going to be using to build my own arrows. If you stay tuned to the end of the video, I'll give a little sneak peek as to what arrows I've chosen for this coming hunting season. So, without further ado, let's dive on in. Let's keep in mind, I'll put in the description of all the links to all of these tools that I have here, links including the lowest prices that I could find online and such. So be sure to check out the description for that. Let's go over the first tool here. This is the Pine Ridge Arrow Inspector. Basically, this is just a spinning device for your arrows to make sure that they spin straight and make sure there's no wobble within them at all. If you're really trying to fine tune and get granular with your arrows, I feel like that's an important tool to have, so that you can notice if there's any variation in your arrows after they're fletched, and seeing if your broadheads spin right as well. Next tool I have is a squaring device. There's a lot of different ones out there. Some of them even come integrated into arrow spinners. I chose not to go that route. I chose to go with this G5 Outdoors squaring device. To me, it just seemed like a good quality product, and having a squaring device is really critical, because even though arrow saws today are built very well, and if you cut it right, you really shouldn't have to square much, but it's always nice having that peace of mind of using a squaring device to make sure that the tip is perfectly square after you cut it. And if anyone has any suggestions of tools or components you think I should consider or get, leave a comment down below. I'm very interested to see what people out there use. Everyone has their own opinions and such. The next tool or component is a grain scale. This is something that I think is very important if you're trying to achieve a specific weight in your arrow, which I am. I'm going to be shooting for the between 420 and 430 range. I give myself a little bit of range for error because it's kind of hard to get exactly to a specific, like 422 grains. That can be a little difficult to get every single arrow exactly that weight, because components can vary sometimes. You can have a grain difference between components sometimes, but I think this grain scale does a very good job at giving you exactly that. The only thing I'll say is it's a tad hard to open sometimes, but once you get it opened, it comes with a little arrow holder, so you can zero the scale to obviously not include that holder, but there's all kinds of different settings you can do in here, different modes. You can weigh things in grains, ounces, whatever you want. It's pretty nice, and it wasn't that expensive either, so this was something that I chose to go with. Let's move on to the fletching jig. This one's made by Arizona Archery. It's the Ease fletching jig. This is the Max Left helical. That's something different that I'm very interested to play with my arrows this year, of putting helical into them, because in the past I've just bought already fletched arrows. There's no helical in any of these because they're come from the manufacturer already fletched and stuff. So the reason I went with a left helical is because I tested this out of my bow with some bare shafts, and I put a little Sharpie marker on them, and I stood very close to a target, a couple feet, and I shot at the target, and I wanted to see which way my arrow turned naturally with the bow, and I found out that it turned to the left naturally coming out of my bow. Some people will say, you know, it doesn't really matter whether you go with a max right or max left helical, even if your arrow's spinning the naturally one way, it'll auto-correct itself. I just wanted to go with what it does naturally. I feel like that's gonna be more beneficial to me and less room for error. But this guy here, this is one of the, I would say this is one of the cheaper fletching jigs on the market today. And so far it doesn't look too bad. I can definitely see why people would have difficulty with these sometimes, because the spring-loaded system in here can be a little finicky to mess with when you're pushing it up and down, and also to make sure that you seed your fletchings in each of these little grooves here correctly the first time, and have them not move either. So I'm interested to try this out. I feel like it's a good starting point for anyone starting to fletch your arrows. You know, there's the famous, Blitzenberg fletching device that's out there. I don't know. I just feel like I want to start here and then maybe work my way up to that eventually. But there's plenty of people that they really run two of these. So they'll set one up, set it down, then they'll fletch another arrow, and by the time they set that one, this one's ready to go. So, they just keep pulling them out, and you can really crank out a lot of arrows using these. So I'm eager to try this out. I didn't buy this, but I feel like it's a good thing to have. Sharpie. Sharpie is for after I cut my arrows, I want to put little dabs on the end of it so that I can see the Sharpie color. I may have to change from red. I think red will be fine, but we'll see. I may end up going with silver just so it's easier to see. So whenever I do that, I'm going to put it on the arrow squaring device, and whenever I can't see the Sharpie on the end of the arrow after squaring it on the device, that's how I know it's good to go. So we'll see how good I am on the saw. I don't have much experience. Let's talk about the saw next. I feel like Carbon Express makes a pretty good one. It has the ruler nice and labeled, everything. What I really like about this, and what doesn't, from my research, what doesn't come with a lot of arrow saws is this little, it looks like an exhaust port on the end of this thing. And what that is a carbon dust collector. So obviously you're cutting carbon arrows, there's going to be residue, and breathing that stuff in is terrible. Terrible for you. It's not something good to get in your eyes at all, So I like that there's a little collector on there. I'm wondering though, and I haven't looked into this, if you could attach like a bag or almost to a shop vac. I have a shop vac in my corner. I wonder if I could attach that to this and it would just collect all the dust itself. Something I definitely want to look into. But really, that's about it, guys. Other than adhesives and obviously choosing your components of what you want for your arrows, this is enough to get you started. Really, it's not as complicated as you may think, and really as I thought too. I thought it was very complicated, but I'm excited to try this out. And for the people that stuck around this long, I'm going to give a little sneak peek as to what arrows I'm going to be shooting this year. We are going to be going with the Easton 5.0s this year. I feel like this, their whole, what Easton has come out with the past couple years has really impressed me. I feel like it's a perfect, lightweight, but balanced hunting arrow. So I'm very eager to get these fletched up. I'll go over in the next video I put out as to what components I'm going to be putting on, and we'll fletch a couple on video so I can get some practice, but then also everyone else can see what the whole process is. I appreciate everyone watching. Don't forget to comment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button too, guys. That really helps me out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.